the speed he can grab other languages is enormous. The other day he was telling me his instances where he often starts speaking because of his, he has so much been infused with Malayalam on those days. He sometimes talks to his Konkani and Kannada patients in Malayalam, right? He opens mouth and they just look at him like that. What has happened to you? Because then they start Konkani and he comes back to the Konkani gear.
When I spoke to him in the morning, I thought he's a Malayali.
Yeah. No, he speaks more, even he knows the deepest, even kind of literature also he will be able to speak. So that is how as in that small town, I don't fit into that frame of a homeopath for them. And and that was the time when I realized, yes, something has happened in my career. So this positivity, which actually in that time, I don't know, I had no teachers, I had no motivation class to go, I had no, but I had a phase of understanding myself, which I actually sat down and actually looked into my past. I'm from a very, you could say, middle class or between middle class and lower middle class family. I'm a son of 2 government servants, and we had a very small life to start with. So that thing actually, that energy which actually brought, I've studied I was referring to our ICR sessions of Dowley and how the transformation of Dowley helped the transformation of me. Had I graduated in any other institution at those times, I probably wouldn't have gone to this. Probably in any other institution which does not give so much of strength into homeopathy in that initial years, maybe I would not have delivered what I have delivered today. So the institution, those initial, we call them a session from, what is it?
ICR.
No, ICR sessions were called something in the initial first year. He was senior to me actually. Awareness program?
Yeah,
awareness program. Mind body awareness induction program into homeopathy. So this transformation helped me what I am today. And this self-general, and what I noted down a few more things while I was sitting here with my things. This career is what I wanted to share first, because I've already finished that. So I go down to the basics, and I just thought about myself on those days. And I was handed out a BSRB book for my uncle. I don't think you know that. I had the opportunity to tell you to go into a probationary bank officer. Because the career of homeopathy may not do so good. That is what was told to my. And then I saw homeopathy changing, and I became a party to that transformation and delivering my best. That's what happened. So that's what the organizational part happened. My primary organizations actually through 20 years of Indian Homeopathy Medical Association transformed me further. And now we have come to GHF where Dr. Alphonse is aspiring as the most prospective person to be the lead role of GHF in Dubai also, because these are people whom I can trust and hand over the mission, because every country we look at having a GHF chapter. Now, second thing I was trying to inform is, I was talking about something in respect to what we had a talk on computers today. So something in life which I actually want to speak about, that positive re-energization of positivity when you are down, when you are really down, is trying to get back to the primary things in life which you used to do when we were nothing. Some basics in life which you used to perform, which we used to do, which we used to habituate with. When you really feel you are going in a gear which actually is not the best for you, or in that gear when you are feeling a bit low, even when I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. Even on the highest of your gears, there are times when you go a bit low. So these are the times when you have to re-motivate and re-energize. Just try to reboot yourself with the basics, like how the system works. The system works. Just try to reboot yourself, and it will give that the refresh sensation in you, that trust which actually has to take us a little more forward. Not little more, a large even considerably forward. That small things which many started doing for you, and you never stopped, and you stopped doing them. I'm sure there are many things, right? So those things when you do together, it starts from washing your clothes. It starts from washing your clothes. I still remember the times in the hostel when now we have maids, sometimes somebody else, some basic things in life for your own thing. I am sure many already you do it here with you, but the very doing it makes you big. One thing I wanted to mention about Anil's talk in computer was that when you surprisingly spoke about the primary, secondary and hard disk, about the 3 levels of remembering the file on the table, I want to say it corresponds fully to conscious, subconscious and unconscious mindsets. I don't know how that comparison came. I say conscious mind is what you are doing at the moment, what you think of, the file in your table or whatever. The subconscious mind is like your ATM. You have it, you can go access it anytime and come back. The fixed deposit is your unconscious mind. You don't have always access. You'll lose interest if you suddenly pull it out. I know there's no interest in Dubai, but still, back in India, it is. So you don't remember, right? So we lose that interest portion. So that is falling in line very much with your view. A little about attitude. Wonderful session by. Very good session. I like your eloquence and speaking style, and I appreciate it really. I learned from that. I also wanted to add some few things like a positive chemical change in brain of an accessible entity. But I have reservations to that the plant thing. Though I think it might not have been a genuine research, but it would be more like a symbolized incident, symbolized narrative. Because you can't influence plants by your talk, or maybe I'm not convinced about how the plants can understand what you said.
It was proven.
Yeah, it was proven. Is it? It was a symbolized.
Even now, even in office, I heard from office we have plants, right?
Mm-hmm.
The person says some plants are dead. For example, I'm just telling you an example. In office, that people tell you just touch the plant.
That is true.
Tactile is the same thing. But something like some energy you're giving.
But you mean the speech might be having a positive and a negative influence. Okay.
The planet reacts to music?
Yeah, of course. Right.
So
maybe I'm unaware about that.
The same principle maybe can be.
Yeah, statements also and maybe the weather of saying.
Yeah.
So definitely it is a symbolized narrative, but of course if it's a research thing, I'm even more happy. It's big really, because they also influenced by this thing. I already said about the basic normals. I'll return it again. I was just sitting here and writing about rebooting. Just fix to your basic normals. We have normals of today in our life. We have normals of 10 years back. We have normals of 20 years back, and maybe 30 years behind. Am I right or not? So just go back to those normal stages where we actually started from. At times when you feel low. So that gives you a resurgence. And there is one more thing I missed to just talking about this other sessions. Sir, there are negatives about Singapore also, which we forgot to mention. Can any of you contribute to that? The life in Singapore lacks a lot.
Workaholic life. 12 hours in office.
If you really speak to Indians, not to Singaporeans, because Singaporeans are pretty much used to it. If our Indian or international community, from other parts of life, especially if you're European, they'll never stay in Singapore. They have a workaholic lifestyle, and they are good with the rules, but the family bondings are all different.
Only weekend. The family they make only the weekends.
There's a huge lacuna, it's a huge gap. We can like Singapore, but it will be very difficult for us to live there, interact. Am I right or not? Because that is the biggest negativity.
Yeah, I just want to explain. I work with Singaporeans, Keppel Offshore Marine guys.
Okay.
The morning 6 o'clock is in office. When they are coming to Doha, the morning 6 o'clock is in office. They left in the evening 7 o'clock. They work from, and in weekend, it's a subconscious mind, we have our work. But in a weekend, they don't pick up the phone. They don't talk. They say
very mechanical as far as
yes.
Job is concerned. It's not like that symbiosis with work, environment, and family is not there. So with all these things in place, which keeps us at awe with what they're doing.
That is one of the reasons their birth rate is so low. They have family life.
Probably they don't have time for productive sex.
It's true. They're told many times.
Because I'm talking about productive sex in connection with impotence and
yes.
the other aspects.
There is one more funniest part. I think the science that didn't prove it. Almost all the birth happening in October in Singapore.
Holiday. Compared to the
maybe in December, January.
10 months prior to the holidays, right?
Yeah.
That's the time when they get to.
The Chinese New Year.
The holidays make their sperm count more, probably, no? Dr. Alphonse, am I right?
Yeah.
The other days the sperm count and the.
Family something that.
Family union happen on that
It's
time.
not mechanical, you see. It has to build up. So normally what happens, as I said, weekends, definitely there is some more productivity. The mind is relaxed and the body is relaxed.
Right.
You feel more wanted and
So the refreshing increases the sperm motility. So the refreshing increases the sperm motility. That's it. And the last thing which I want to say is, about one tip about some expression I heard about the words. I think you said some words which can influence.
Yeah.
See, some of my basic understandings about life, values, everything has started from a very small school teacher of my school days called Dr. Sunny Matthew, who was not teaching English, but he was a class teacher, and he used to introduce one word to the class on every weekday. I used to write that. The first session will be always the class teachers. He used to write that, and he used to underline that, and he used to make us friendly to that word, like a person, for at least 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. I still remember he started with the word sacrifice. So most of these words had very deep meanings, and this not only totally, contributed to my vocabulary, it also made me, really deep into many dimensions, because English is a language which has different dimensions about its understanding, and so these words, this understanding of these words, the depth, the personalized influence of that words, all these things, it adds to your attitude. That's what I connected to your thing also. So these words and the influence and the understanding, the realization, the overall three-dimensional view on it totally, has influenced my attitude, and, at research from the